Hello and welcome to this Fantasy Premier League Game Week 36 preview. Today we're just going to be taking a preview at some of the fixtures and then how that affects the fantasy team. If you are new around here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, it really helps me out. And without further ado, let's get straight into this. So as you can see to my side here, we have the fixture list of this week's coming games. Some very interesting games here. We kick off with the Chelsea-Norwich game. I know a lot of people bringing in and even considering captaining the likes of Willian Pulisic for this Norwich game, just because Chelsea very good going forward and obviously Norwich slacking a lot in the defence. In other games we see Liverpool take on Arsenal. That should be a pretty decent game. Arsenal still kind of fighting a little bit for Champions League, although that has seemingly now been sort of taken away from them with that loss to Spurs. We see the likes of Manchester City take on Bournemouth. Well, as another big captain consideration, and a lot of people bringing in Jesus or considering captaining for this game. Then we see Manchester United take on Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace having lost their last 5 games, and it's looking like it will become at 6, playing against a very, very strong Manchester United team at the minute, who are just rolling through teams. We see West Ham play Watford, a very big game for Watford. If they win this game, they're almost safe and secured, with all 3 of those sort of relegation teams, Aston Villa, Bournemouth and Watford, picking up vital wins in the last round of fixtures. This round of fixtures could really set apart who will actually get relegated. It's not looking too great for Bournemouth and Aston Villa right now if Watford can go and pull a win against West Ham. But a very good recent West Ham. Antonio banging in 4 goals in the last game week, bringing him as the highest scoring FPL player this season and maybe one of the highest scoring of all time. 26 points was absolutely absurd. But yeah, we've got the fixtures here, so let's see what those fixtures mean for the team. So this is the team that I will be going into game week 36 with. The captaincy isn't exactly locked on in the minute, although I do quite like Bruno Fernandes. He's been very consistent since the restart, and really if you haven't had him captained, you've really lost out week by week apart from 1 week. So I think captaining him is quite a safe option. If you think De Bruyne will start against Bournemouth, then I think he's also a very good option. So I've brought in the likes of David Silva, Tarkowski and Danny Ings for this week, just because I think they're going to be very, very good going forward as well. Some nice fixtures some nice fixtures ahead of us for all of those players. Burnley taking on Norwich in the next game week, so I think that will be a very good option there. We took them out for the likes of Van Dijk, so Van Dijk to Tarkowski, with Sarr out to David Silva, and Jimenez out to Ings. Jimenez was one I struggled with, however I just feel like Jimenez did look very tired in the last game. The only reason he scored was because of a penalty, and Burnley just have an extremely solid defence. I do have a bit of a clusterfuck in my mind at the minute, just because I don't know who to start on the bench. I've got the likes of Doherty and Saiz. Ayu's not really in consideration for me at this point. He's just kind of a bench playing player who, you know, if for some miracle or all of my players and all 3 of my players end up getting benched or injured in this game, I'll be able to have him and play him in the future. But other than that, he won't really be playing in the team for the rest of the season. But yeah, so I really just have to decide in this game whether I'm going to play Doherty over Tarkowski. I could even play Doherty over Trent, although I just feel playing against Arsenal, Trent could easily pick up a clean sheet and even a goal or an assist. And the amount of times I've been punished by not having Trent, I feel like I just have to play him in every single game, even if he is a doubt to start. Like we did see him not start last week, which to me means he probably will be starting in the next game, or maybe they're just saving him for the FA Cup. Who knows? But yeah, likely to see him start there. Then into the midfield, David Silva. He's had a bit of a rest. He's on his final season. He's going to get minutes in these last few games. And against the likes of Bournemouth, I'm tempted to captain him, although just because he's not sure to start, I think I'll wait and see. But I've taken a -4 here, mainly to bring in David Silva, just because I think he's going to smash it over the next few weeks. And then we're sticking with the likes of Son, Martial and Bruno Fernandes. These 2 guys have been the sort of core of the team since we've come back. My patience with Son finally paid off in the last week with the 13 points against Arsenal. I know plenty of people who took Son out and got punished for it unless you bought Son out for Antonio. That was really the only swap that netted positive there. Some people, and a lot of people are bringing in, are snapping Antonio in. They're playing against Aston Villa. I'm a bit humming and hawing about this one because Aston Villa really are fighting for their relegation spot, or to not to be relegated, as it were. And although West Ham are on some very, very good form, it's going to be a hard one to predict, this one. I think Aston Villa played against a very poor Crystal Palace side who made Aston Villa look good, whereas West Ham just absolutely, they were just in slaughter mode. Antonio scoring 4, and I can see him maybe picking up a goal. He won't get to that level of points again, or I don't believe he will, because 26 points is absolutely absurd. Maybe everyone will snap him in and he'll blank. I do see him doing something though against Aston Villa. I don't see this being a kind of 0-0 game, or if it's going to be anything, it'll be like 2 or 3-0. I can see Aston Villa scoring though, and so as you can see here, I'm very humming and hawing about this game. But yeah, just the only decision I have to make now is the captaincy. Debating between Bruno Fernandes and De Bruyne, really. Maybe David Silva, it felt like a punt, but I don't think I need to be that aggressive in my style of play at the minute. But yeah, this has been a little preview to the game. Let us know what your teams are down in the comments down below. And if you have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to leave a like. Thanks for watching.